I slept alone, but when I woke up, there was an alien vampire woman in my bed. Evan had never slept so well in his life. The small pod he called his room on the orbital station was quiet, the hum of the habitat's life support systems almost soothing. He had worked a long 12-hour shift, repairing minor technical faults in the station's hydroponics section, and every muscle in his body ached. By the time he crawled into his bunk, he was ready for a dreamless sleep. He did not wake up with the usual grogginess. Instead, a soft warmth spread across his chest, like the sunlight streaming through a window on old Earth days. Slowly, he blinked his eyes open, expecting the familiar emptiness of his pod. But he froze. Someone was in his bed. Not a thief, not a fellow crew member. A woman, tall, pale, and impossibly graceful, lay beside him. Her skin seemed almost translucent under the dim light of the pod, her hair a silver cascade that glimmered faintly. She didn't move, only watched him with wide, golden eyes that reflected curiosity, not malice. Evan's first thought was that he was dreaming. His second thought was that maybe this was a hallucination from overwork. But when she blinked, small points of light danced across her eyes and he knew she was real. Hello," Evan said, his voice breaking slightly. "Do I know you?" She tilted her head, observing him like a scientist studying a strange specimen. Then she spoke, her voice melodic and soft. "You are awake." Evan's heart pounded. He had read about alien encounters but never expected one to happen in such an ordinary way, waking up in his own bed. "Yes, I woke up," he stammered. Who are you?" She smiled faintly. "I am Sarith," she said, as if the name carried weight far beyond his comprehension. "I am not supposed to be here." Evan froze. Not supposed to be here. He looked around the small pod. There was no sign of forced entry. The doors were locked, the room secure. "How did you get here?" Sarith's eyes softened. "Mistake, transit malfunction." "Transit malfunction," Evan echoed, still trying to process everything. He rubbed his eyes, like a teleport thing. "Yes." "You humans call it teleport." Sarith's lips curved in a small, amused smile. "Yes, I was moving to another pod. I arrived here instead." Evan's mind raced. This was insane, but there was something about her calm tone, the lack of fear, that made him feel strangely calm. "Okay," he said cautiously. "So you're an alien." "I am," she replied simply. "And you are not afraid?" Evan blinked. That caught his attention. "Wait, aren't humans supposed to be afraid of your kind?" Sarith's eyes widened slightly. "Yes, most humans are afraid." "You are different." For a long moment the two of them stared at each other. Evan tried to find words, but everything seemed too small, too ordinary, too human to describe the moment. Finally, he said, "Well, that's probably a good thing." "Yes," Sarith said. "It is good." Evan took a deep breath and leaned back on the bed, trying to make sense of everything. "All right, let's try this. You're here by accident. You're an alien. And apparently humans are supposed to be scared of you. But I'm not. Is that about right?" Sarith nodded, her hair shimmering as she moved slightly. "Yes, it is accurate." Evan laughed nervously, running a hand through his hair. "Okay, then I guess we start with the basics. Why are you called a vampire by humans?" Sarith's eyes flickered. "Vampire is a human nickname. It is because my people absorb energy, emotional energy, life energy during sleep. It is not harmful usually, but humans are unstable." "Unstable," Evan repeated, his eyebrows raising. "You mean we're dangerous for you?" "Yes." "You humans are unpredictable. Most of my kind avoid you, always." Evan felt a strange mixture of fear and fascination. "So you're telling me that you're not supposed to be near humans, and I'm okay?" "You are okay," she said. "I am curious. Your energy does not harm me. It strengthens me." That made Evan sit up straight. "Strengthens you, me? How?" Sarith leaned forward slightly, her gaze intense but gentle. "Your calm, your lack of fear, it feeds me better than fear." Evan blinked. "Wow. I've been called a lot of things, but I don't think feeding source for alien vampire was one of them. He chuckled nervously. Sareth's lips curved into a faint smile. Humans are unusual. You survive through bonding, care, cooperation. Your kind is strong, though you do not know it. Evan felt a strange warmth in his chest, a mixture of pride and disbelief. So you like us, Sareth considered this. I am learning, yes. You are not as humans expected, not as dangerous, not as weak. Different. Before Evan could respond, a soft chime sounded from the pod's door console. He froze. That's probably station security, he muttered. Sareth's eyes darkened slightly. They will come. I must leave. Wait, Evan said quickly. You can't just disappear. You're stuck here, remember? Transit malfunction. Maybe we can, but Sareth's gaze softened again. You help me not with force, with a trust. Humans are unique. Evan swallowed. Trust. With an alien. He didn't know if he could do that, but something about her calm, careful manner made him believe he could. Okay, he said slowly. I'll help, but first tell me more. About you, about your people. Sareth shifted, settling slightly against the bed. My people are old. Older than your star systems. We move silently, avoid conflict. We survive on energy, emotion from sleep. But your kind, you are raw, unpredictable, yet you give strength. Evan listened, fascinated. And you never thought humans could be useful. Never, Sareth admitted softly. Until now, you do not fear me. You are calm, you are kind. Evan smiled, feeling awkward but warm inside. I guess that's me. Evan human, and I don't know why, but I think I'm glad you're here. Sareth's eyes glimmered. And I am curious about you, about humans. A pause hung between them, comfortable yet electric. For the first time in centuries, Sareth felt hope. Not for power, not for conquest, but for understanding. Then the door chime rang again, louder this time. Evan sighed. All right, we need a plan. You can't be caught wandering the station, especially in someone else's pod. Sareth nodded. Yes, we must be careful. Evan thought quickly. Okay, first, we hide you. No one can see you until we figure out a way to fix the teleport thing. Then maybe we can talk to the station leadership. Maybe we can explain. Sareth's eyes widened slightly. Explain humans can help my people. Evan nodded slowly. Maybe, but first we survive until then. She gave a faint smile, the first genuine one. Yes, we survive. Evan looked at her, the absurdity of the situation hitting him. An alien vampire woman in his bed, talking about survival, energy, and humans being special. He laughed softly. I think my life just got a lot weirder. Sareth tilted her head. And mine, but you are different. That makes everything possible. Evan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. All right then, let's make the impossible possible. As they settled into a strange truce of curiosity and quiet trust, neither of them realized that the events of this accidental meeting would ripple far beyond the small pod. The universe was about to notice humanity in a way it never had before, quiet, subtle, and entirely unexpected. And for the first time in centuries, Sareth felt a flicker of hope, because this human, simple and ordinary as he seemed, might just change everything. Evan had never imagined that breakfast could feel so strange. He sat at the small table in his pod, eating synthetic cereal, while Sareth watched him carefully. She had never eaten human food before, and the bright colors and strange smells seemed to fascinate her. You eat this? She asked, pointing to his bowl. Yes, Evan said with a shrug. It's not real food, but it fills you up. Sareth touched it lightly with her fingers. Interesting, not dangerous. Safe for humans, Evan said. Mostly, he laughed, but it felt nervous. I mean, we humans are weird sometimes, but we're not harmful usually. Sareth tilted her head. You speak of humans as strange, but you do not seem afraid of us. Why? Evan paused. He considered her question carefully. I guess because I've never met someone like you before. And maybe because I don't judge someone for being different. I mean, you're in my bed and I could freak out, but why? You didn't hurt me. Sareth studied him for a long moment. No harm, only curiosity. I want to learn. That's good, Evan said, feeling a little more relaxed. You want to learn? Well, there's a lot about humans to learn, she nodded. Yes, you are complex, emotional, unstable, yet strong. This fascinates me. Evan smiled. Unstable, huh? That's one way to put it. But strong, how do you mean? Sareth leaned closer, her golden eyes serious. Most species we avoid humans, too unpredictable. You could make us ill, but you are different. Your energy is not harmful. It gives strength. You survive through kindness, hope, and cooperation. That is powerful. Evan laughed softly, shaking his head. Wow, so humans are like superfood for alien vampires. That's honestly a first for me, she smiled faintly. Not food, energy, emotional energy. But yes, your kind is unique. As the morning passed, Evan tried to explain more about humans, about the way they work together, how they survive harsh worlds, and how, despite weaknesses, they often achieve incredible things. Sareth listened carefully, sometimes tilting her head, sometimes touching the synthetic walls of the pod in thought. You humans live in such small spaces, she said finally. And yet you grow, you survive despite everything. Your spirit is different. Evan smiled, a little proud despite himself. We do. We're not perfect, but we try, and sometimes we surprise even ourselves. Sareth's gaze lingered on him. And you are calm, not afraid. That is rare. Most humans fear my kind. Fear is dangerous. Fear is dangerous, Evan agreed. But not everything is scary if you understand it. I don't understand all of you, but I know you're not here to hurt me. She paused. No, to learn, to survive, to understand. Evan nodded slowly. I can work with that. The day passed quietly. Evan showed her how the pod systems worked, how the small hydroponics bay produced fresh food, and even how to use the station's communication systems. Sareth absorbed everything quickly, asking questions, watching closely, always curious. At one point, Evan tried to explain human humor. We humans, we often laugh at things that don't make sense. Sometimes we laugh at danger, sometimes at ourselves. It helps us feel less afraid. Sareth tilted her head. Laugh at danger. Yes, Evan said with a grin. We do that sometimes. It's strange, I know. Sareth's lips curved faintly, almost like a smile. Interesting, humor is energy. Not exactly, Evan said, but it helps us survive. It keeps us strong in ways you can't see. She studied him carefully. Your energy is different. It does not harm me, it makes me stronger. Perhaps humans can help my people. Evan blinked. Help your people, you mean like save them? Yes, she said softly. My species is fading, energy is scarce. Many cannot survive without strong emotional energy. Humans may be the only hope. Evan felt his chest tighten. He had expected adventure, curiosity, maybe a weird story to tell friends back on Earth, but not this. You're saying humans can help vampires? Yes, Sareth said, but most humans fear us. They cannot help. You are different. Evan sat back, trying to process it. So you're telling me we might be important without even knowing it, she nodded. Yes, your kind has quiet power. It does not destroy, only supports. That is rare. A sudden noise interrupted their conversation, the soft hum of the station doors opening in the hall. Evan froze. Sareth's eyes darkened. They are here, she said. Station security searching. Evan's heart raced. Oh no, they'll see you. Sareth's voice was calm but firm. You help me hide, quickly. Humans are clever, you can do it. Evan took a deep breath. Yeah, we can do it, come on. He led her to the small maintenance hatch beneath the pod, a space usually reserved for storage. Sareth slipped inside silently, barely making a sound. Evan followed, crouching beside her as footsteps echoed above. They will leave soon, Sareth whispered. Humans hide well. Evan grinned nervously. Well, I'm pretty good at hiding things, especially myself. For several tense minutes they stayed in the hatch. Evan explained quietly about the station layout, how to move without being detected. and how to communicate secretly. Sarith absorbed everything, impressed by the human capacity for cleverness and adaptability. After the security team passed, Evan and Sarith emerged from the hatch. Evan exhaled in relief. Okay, that was close. Sarith studied him, her golden eyes serious. Your kind uses mind, not force, clever, not violent. That is strength. I did not know humans could be like this. Evan smiled, a little embarrassed. Thanks, I guess. We're not perfect, but we try to figure things out, she nodded. And you are helping me learn about humans, about life. That is rare. As evening came, Evan offered her a simple bed in the small pod and Sarith accepted. They did not speak much. The quiet was comfortable, a rare peace for two beings from different worlds. Before sleep, Sarith turned to Evan. I must know, why do you not fear me? Most humans do. Evan thought carefully. Because I see you as you are, not a story, not a monster. You're curious, cautious, trying to survive. That makes you human in a way, and humans, we respect that. Sarith paused. Human respect strain, yet pleasant. Perhaps that is why you give strength. Evan smiled softly. Maybe, or maybe humans are stronger than we know. Sarith's eyes shimmered. Stronger, yes, that may be true. As they both drifted into sleep, an unspoken understanding passed between them. Humans, Sarith realized, were not what her people had feared. They were different, stronger than expected. And perhaps, just perhaps, capable of something greater than fear. And in the quiet of that small pod, for the first time in her long life, Sarith felt hope. Not for herself, not for power, but for what humans might bring to a galaxy that had long feared them. Evan, on the other hand, dreamed of silver hair and golden eyes, of mysteries that stretched beyond the stars, and of a universe that suddenly seemed full of possibilities he had never imagined. Tomorrow, he knew, would be even stranger. And somehow he was ready for it. The next morning, Evan woke to the soft hum of the station and the faint shimmer of Sarith's silver hair in the dim light. For a moment he forgot everything, the stress, the alarms, even the fact that an alien vampire woman had accidentally arrived in his pod. Then he remembered, and a smile tugged at his lips. Sarith was already awake, sitting cross-legged on the small bed. She watched him quietly, her golden eyes thoughtful. You awake early, she said. I could say the same about you, Evan replied with a grin. Can't let the universe wait, I guess. Sarith tilted her head. The universe waits for no one, yet humans, they move slowly, carefully. Thoughtfully, carefully, Evan asked, raising an eyebrow. We can be careless too, you know, especially me. Sarith's lips curved in a faint smile. Yes, careless sometimes, but you also survive. That is important. That is strength. Evan scratched his head. Strength. You really like calling humans strong. It is true, Sarith said simply. Your kind is unexpected. You survive where others would fail. As breakfast time approached, Evan realized it was the perfect opportunity to show her more about human habits. They moved together to the small kitchen module, where he demonstrated the coffee synthesizer and explained the simple ritual of breakfast, pouring liquids, mixing powders, and creating a familiar comfort that Sarith had never experienced. Why do you humans enjoy this? She asked. It appears simple, but you value it. Comfort, Evan said, sipping his coffee. It's small, but it helps. Humans, we live in harsh worlds. We survive by finding small things that make life better. That gives us strength. Sarith nodded slowly. Small strength, that makes sense. My people seek large, strong energy, but humans have subtle energy, powerful in different way. Evan smiled. Exactly, and that's why we might actually help each other, even if we're different. They spent the morning exploring parts of the station that Evan had never thought to show anyone. Storage areas, maintenance corridors, observation decks. Sarith's curiosity was endless. She asked about the station's systems, the history of human settlement in orbit, and even the subtle social patterns among the crew. Every answer fascinated her. You humans cooperate not just for survival, she said. You help each other for friendship, for trust. That is rare. That is unlike any other species. Evan nodded. We try to. Sometimes we fail, but mostly we help. And that keeps us alive in more ways than one. Sareth paused, thinking. Perhaps that is why my kind misjudged humans. We looked at survival as strength through power. But you survive through heart, through trust. That is unique. Evan laughed softly. Well, I guess humans have their own kind of magic, not flashy, not scary, just quiet. Quiet strength, Sareth repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, this is true. The peaceful morning, however, was interrupted when a soft alarm sounded through the pod. Evan's heart skipped a beat. That's not good. Sareth's golden eyes sharpened. They are searching again. Security or station control. Evan groaned. Yeah, they're probably looking for you. I need to think fast. He led her back to the small maintenance hatch beneath the pod. This way, he whispered. It's tight, but it works. Sareth followed silently, her grace making it look effortless. They slipped into the narrow space as footsteps echoed above. Evan held his breath, hoping the security team would pass without noticing. They do not understand humans, Sareth whispered. You hide using mind, not strength. Clever, that is power. Evan grinned nervously. Thanks, I guess thinking can be just as useful as well fighting. The security team passed, unaware of the two figures crouched below. Evan exhaled slowly. Okay, we're safe for now. Sareth studied him. Humans do not need fear to survive. That is strange yet effective. Perhaps your kind can teach my people something new. Evan looked at her, thinking. Maybe, but first we need a plan. You can't just wander the station and we can't risk anyone finding out about you. Sareth nodded. Yes, we plan. Humans are clever. I trust you. Evan smiled. Thanks, that means a lot. The day continued with lessons and conversations. Evan showed Sareth simple human games, explaining that they were more than just fun. They taught strategy, patience, and teamwork. Sareth watched closely, trying to understand how humans could turn play into strength. You humans learn through play, through mistakes, she said, and through cooperation. That is different, that is powerful. Evan nodded. Exactly. We make mistakes, but we help each other. That's what matters. As night fell, Evan realized that Sareth was not just learning about humans. She was beginning to see the galaxy differently. She had believed humans were unstable, dangerous, unpredictable. Now she saw them as resilient, creative, and quietly strong. Sareth turned to him as they prepared for sleep. I must go soon. My people need answers. Perhaps humans can help them. That is dangerous yet necessary. Evan frowned. Dangerous how? They will not understand, she said softly. Most species fear humans. They fear change. They fear hope. Evan laughed softly. Hope? You're saying my kind is feared for hope? Sareth nodded. Yes, strange yet true. Your kind can bring strength without force. That is powerful. That is different. That is why I trust you. Evan felt a warmth in his chest, a sense of purpose he had never felt before. Well, then we'll figure it out together. Sareth's eyes shimmered with faint light. Together, yes. That is important. That may change everything. The night passed quietly, but both were aware of the larger world outside the small pod. Sareth had begun to understand that humans were not what her species feared. They were unique. They had a quiet strength that could survive, adapt, and even heal. Evan, meanwhile, realized that his life had changed forever. What had begun as an accidental meeting had become a mission, though he did not yet know the full scope. Humans, it seemed, were not only ordinary, they were extraordinary in ways the galaxy had not yet understood. As dawn approached, Sareth whispered, Tomorrow we begin something new. Humans may teach my people hope. That is dangerous yet necessary. Evan nodded, staring at the softly glowing windows of the station. Then tomorrow we'll do it, step by step. We'll show them what humans can really do. And in the quiet of the pod, two beings from different worlds understood something vital. Strength did not always come from fear or power. Sometimes it came from trust, kindness, and the quiet courage to see the universe differently. For the first time in her life, Sareth felt that humans were not just another species. They were a key to survival, a spark that could ignite hope across the galaxy. And for the first time in his life, Evan felt that being human was not just ordinary, it was extraordinary. Tomorrow, he knew, the universe would begin to notice. The morning light spread slowly across the orbital station, touching every module with a soft glow. Evan sat at the edge of his bed, sipping synthetic coffee, his mind racing. Today was important. Not just another day of fixing machines or checking systems, but a day that could change the way Sareth's people saw humanity forever. Sareth appeared beside him, graceful and calm, though her golden eyes shimmered with anticipation. "Today we begin," she said. "My people, they will see. They must understand humans." Evan nodded. "Okay, I'm ready. Let's show them what humans can really do." The plan was simple but risky. Sareth would allow Evan to demonstrate human creativity, adaptability, and cooperation, not with weapons or force, but with ideas, teamwork, and calm problem-solving. Her people were powerful, ancient, and cautious. To impress them, Evan needed to act as the example of what humans could offer: patience, understanding, and hope. They traveled together to the observation deck, a large transparent dome that overlooked the orbital station and the distant stars. Evan explained his ideas quietly. "First, we need a demonstration, not a fight, not a display of force. Something simple, something clever, something that shows humans survive and solve problems in ways other species might not understand." Sareth nodded. "Yes, show through mind, not strength. Humans do not destroy, yet survive." Evan smiled. "Exactly, that's the point." Sareth contacted her people using a subtle energy transmission. Within moments, shimmering figures appeared on the deck. Ancient, elegant, and slightly intimidating, her species watched silently. Their golden eyes, like Sareth's, glimmered with curiosity and suspicion. "Greetings," Sareth said softly. "I bring a human who may show you something new." Evan stepped forward, trying to appear calm. "Hello," he said simply. "I'm Evan. I'm a human. I want to show you how my people live, survive, and cooperate." A faint murmur passed among the figures. One stepped forward, tall and imposing. "Human, we do not trust easily," it said, voice deep and echoing. "Why should we believe you?" Evan nodded. "I understand. I can't make you believe with words alone. I can only show you. Watch what we do. Watch how humans solve problems without hurting anyone." Sareth's eyes shone with pride. "Yes, show through action, not speech." The first demonstration was simple. Evan and Sareth moved through the observation deck, pointing out broken panels, blocked air vents, and malfunctioning equipment. Evan explained how humans approach problems: assessing, thinking, communicating, and working together. He showed how even small humans with no special energy or power could repair systems quickly using observation and cooperation. The ancient aliens watched silently. Some tilted their heads, unsure. Others remained stern, expecting some hidden trick. But as the repairs were completed quickly and efficiently, their golden eyes widened slightly. "You observe carefully, plan, execute," one said finally. "You use mind, not power. That is different." Evan smiled. "Exactly, that's what humans do. We survive not by dominating, not by fighting, but by learning, helping each other, and staying calm under pressure." The next demonstration was teamwork. Evan led a small simulation of an energy fluctuation in the station, showing how humans organize, communicate, and solve problems as a team. Sareth assisted, subtly guiding the aliens' attention to human strategies without revealing her own species' methods. "Observe how humans cooperate," she whispered to her people. "No force only, mind only, trust." The alien council watched carefully. Their energy shimmered subtly, but they made no move to interfere. They were curious but wary. Then something remarkable happened. One of the older aliens, a leader who rarely spoke, approached Evan. "You predict outcomes before they happen. You adapt quickly. You do not destroy. This is unlike any other species." Evan nodded. "We adapt. We make mistakes, yes, but we learn. We survive because we help each other. That's our strength." Sareth's eyes glimmered brighter than ever. "Yes, you humans understand power differently. You use it to survive, not destroy. That is rare." The council members murmured among themselves, their energy flickering, a sign of surprise, curiosity, and slowly understanding. Sareth's voice was quiet but strong. "My people, we have feared humans because we misunderstood. Humans do not conquer, they sustain. Humans do not harm, protect. Humans may help us survive." Evan stepped forward, feeling more confident. "I know my people are small. I know we are not powerful in the way you are. But our strength is different. It comes from trust, from cooperation, from hope. And that can change the universe without violence." The council was silent for a long moment. Then the oldest member, energy flickering faintly like starlight, said softly, "Perhaps we were wrong. Perhaps humans are different in ways we cannot yet fully measure, but we see now. Their strength is quiet, yet strong." Sareth turned to Evan, her expression filled with admiration. "You have shown them truth. Humans can help my people without force, without fear. That is important." Evan smiled. "I guess we did it, quietly." "Yes, quietly," Sareth said. "Yet effectively. Humans may teach hope to the galaxy. That is power." The council members stepped back, their energy settling into a calm, thoughtful glow. They were beginning to understand something they had never expected: that humans, so small and unassuming, could survive and influence the universe in ways their ancient species could not. Evan looked at Sareth. "So, this is it. We've changed their minds." "Not fully," she replied, "but we have begun. Understanding has started. That is enough for now." The two of them stood together, looking out at the stars. Evan felt a sense of pride and wonder he had never known before. He realized that humans were not just survivors of harsh worlds. They were carriers of hope, of quiet strength, and of cooperation. And Sareth, she understood that humans were not monsters, not unstable threats, but allies. Partners in survival, capable of something ancient and powerful. Change through trust, empathy, and understanding. As the day ended, Evan and Sareth returned to the small pod, exhausted but exhilarated. They had faced their first real challenge, convincing an ancient species that humans were worth trusting, and they had succeeded, not with strength or fear, but with quiet intelligence and humanity's unique qualities. Evan smiled softly as he lay down. "You know, this was probably the weirdest day of my life, and also one of the best." Sareth rested beside him, her energy calm and steady. "Yes, today we changed something, not with force, not with fear, but with understanding. That is rare yet powerful. Humans are extraordinary." Evan chuckled. "Extraordinary, huh? I like that. Maybe I always knew it but didn't have proof." Sareth tilted her head, looking at him with a soft shimmer in her golden eyes. "Proof is here, in action, in survival, in trust. That is strength that humans bring to the universe." Evan closed his eyes, thinking of the day's events. He thought of the council, of Sareth, of the quiet courage humans carried within themselves. He realized that being human was not about power or dominance. It was about heart, cooperation, and hope. And that was something worth celebrating. As sleep claimed them both, Evan felt a quiet certainty. Humanity's story was just beginning. Not as conquerors, not as warriors, but as beings who could survive, adapt, and bring hope to even the most ancient and powerful species. And somewhere across the stars, Sareth's people would remember that day. The day humans proved that quiet strength could change everything. Evan smiled in his sleep. For once, he knew the universe was a little brighter, a little safer, and a little more extraordinary because of humans. The galaxy had noticed humanity's quiet power, and it would never be the same again.